What's going on, guys, and welcome to my third and final lineup builder on the channel this year. I want us kind of make these lineup building videos like yearly, so I can kind of look back on them and see, what my opinion was maybe a year ago. And today's video, we're going to be doing the World 11. So these are the 11 players that I pretty much, if I had to build a team for next season, these would be the 11 players that would be starting for me. If you guys have enjoyed this sort of like mini series at the end of the season, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's get on with building that squad, shall we? And I'll be honest with you guys, I have actually spent quite a long time preparing for this video because it, of course, is a World 11, so I do need to account for every single player that plays football. And obviously the last two videos were predominantly Premier League focused, and that is because that is the competition I watch the most. Of course, I did watch the Champions League alongside the Premier League. I didn't watch too much of the other leagues, but of course, I know the players. I know, if they've done well and things like that. So, yeah, I will sort of say that at the start of the video. I might have a Prem bias, and of course, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about my team. Now, starting things off in net. Pretty much there was a choice between four keepers for me. I'm thinking Courtois, Donnarumma, Alisson, and Sommer. I think Alisson and Sommer probably not quite up to the same level as the other two. I think Alisson, don't get me wrong, won the Premier League, been a great goalkeeper for a long time, and Sommer, I think Sommer's more like my personal preference, like bias, but like, because I love Sommer, I think he's a great goalkeeper, but maybe not quite Courtois and Donnarumma level. Now, of course, Donnarumma won Champions League this year, and of course, Liga, but I don't know, like, because if I had to put a goalkeeper in goal, I still think I would pick Courtois. Like, I just think Courtois is a better goalkeeper, in my opinion. So for that reason, I am going to put Courtois in goal. And yeah, I think this position is, to be fair, it's not like I would be too upset if you did put Donnarumma in there. I think it's between them two personally. I could see an argument for Sommer or Alisson being in there. Outside of them four keepers, in my opinion, they're not really worth a shout. So yeah, personally I'm going to go with Courtois, and I'm basing that off, like, say if I had to build the team going in for next season, who would I prefer to have in goal? Personally, I prefer to have Courtois, so I'm going to go with him. Now the back line, there is one person that was never in debate for me, and that is Van Dijk. So I'm just going to put him in because I think it's very rare in these sort of like World 11s that there'll be a player that you're like, okay, he's nailed. Like, obviously in the past couple of years has been Ronaldo, Messi. I feel like Van Dijk has just solidified himself now as just the best centre back in world football for me. So Van Dijk is like the no-brainer. I don't think there's much comp for him. I think he's a level above all the other centre backs. So yeah, and a great leader, of course. So Van Dijk was the no debate for me, and also another player that is no debate for me is going to be Hakimi. I just think, yeah, he is just the best right back in the world for me, and there isn't really a debate to be had. Now, with that being said, the other centre back and left back, I guess, is a, well, trying to think about it now. The left back, I guess, for me, out and out left backs, Nuno Mendes is the best. However, you could, there's an argument to be had that Gvardiol, if I guess if this was a back three, Gvardiol might be a better choice. Say if you're playing a three at the back, or like three centre backs, or a five, you know what I mean? I think Gvardiol fits into that team. But if we're going off this formation, 4-3-3, then I think Nuno Mendes has to be in here for me. So yeah, I think that's the actual out and out left backs. I think Nuno Mendes is the best. If you're playing a different system, like left centre back, I would give it to more of a Gvardiol. And then yeah, so that leaves our final position where we've got a choice between, in my eyes, in my opinion, three centre backs. Now I could be forgetting someone, missing someone, maybe. That's likely going to happen. There's so many football players, but I'm thinking Gvardiol, of course. Saliba, I think, is a fantastic centre back. Again, might be my Prem bias, or Bastoni. I think for me, they're the three centre backs that I'm really looking at and being like, I want one of them three in my team. And I think I'm gonna have to put my Prem bias aside here, and I think I'm gonna have to go Bastoni. And the only again, I think phenomenal centre back. Don't get me wrong. I think all three of them are great centre backs. But if I just had to pick one going into next year, right now, I think I'll pick Bastoni. And it's just interested to see how his career develops. Like, will I look back on this in a year and be like, oh, what a terrible decision Bastoni was? Or will it be the other way around? Would it be like oh, Bastoni's like a nailed best centre back in the world right now? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Moving on to the midfield, then, I think there is absolutely one man that cannot be debated, so I'm going to put him in straight away, and that is Pedri. I just don't see. I think everyone would have Pedri in their midfield, wherever you want to play him, any formation, whatever you want to do, he's just got to be in there. So Pedri is, yeah, just in there for me no matter what. Then the other positions are debated for me between a couple of players, so I'm just going to say the players and then we'll sort of debate. Um, I'm thinking Valverde, Vitinha, Bellingham, Rice, Verts, Musiala, so many great players. I'm sure there's probably one that I haven't mentioned there as well. No doubt there's some phenomenal midfielders. But for me, I think in my head I've decided that Rice is just the best DM in the world right now, and it is a World 11, so I'm going to go ahead and put in Declan Rice. Just as a, in my mind, I'm thinking this is good. You're going to need at least one holding midfielder, and I just think he is the best holding midfielder in the world right now. And I just think, imagine them two in the midfield. Wow, what an engine room. And then the third position, I think. Well, let's think out loud. So Valverde is incredibly versatile. However, it's kind of hard putting Real Madrid players in here because they didn't obviously do too well in the Champions League. Bellingham, I think I'd rather have Valverde than Bellingham in my team, so I'm going to disregard Bellingham. Vitinha is a great shout. Verts, I just don't think, not quite for me. Musiala's been great, but a bit injured this season. So I think in my mind, it's got to be between Valverde and Vitinha. I mean that whole, yeah, we've got to have a PSG midfield. I was going to say the PSG midfield is so good. It's wrong to not have one of them in here, isn't it? So we're gonna go with Vitinha. I mean, the whole PSG midfield is great. I think that's my three though. And again, I'm very happy to debate this in the comment section. So let me know in the comments. Maybe you guys would have a bit more PSG or Real Madrid involved here, but yeah, I think I'm happy with these. I'm happy with these. And of course, if I haven't mentioned anyone, then let me know in the comments down below. But I think I've given a fair enough shout to all the players I'm at least thinking about. Because of course, like I said, I'm putting players like Rice in here, but I've at least mentioned Bellingham. You know what I mean? Like he is Bellingham's a good player, but I just in the holding position rather have someone like Rice. I think Rice is our best player for England in my opinion, or him or the man I'm going to come on to next, which is Harry Kane. Let's talk about the striker position then. So you've got a few names. I think Kane is like yeah, he's definitely got to be in the debate, right? Even I know I'm English, so I might have a bit of bias, but he's got. I think most people you got to be debating him. You could have Mbappe up there. You could have Dembele. I know Dembele has been playing on the wing for most of his career, but he's been playing through the middle for PSG. So interesting one. Who would I rather have? Kane, an out-and-out striker. Mbappe, I think Mbappe or Kane is really a good debate. I mean, again, maybe this is my English bias, but I think I'm leaning more Kane than Mbappe. Personally, like for my team, how I would want it to be going into next year. Because obviously that's how I'm thinking. Like I'm putting my mind. Obviously, if you're thinking about long-term future, like 10 years or whatever, then you probably pick Mbappe because obviously he's younger. But I think if you're just going in with say if I could build a team for the Champions League next year, I think I would rather have Kane than Mbappe. But then saying that, would I prefer Dembele? Oh my God, Dembele has been wicked, hasn't he? I think it's got to be Dembele. Dembele or Kane? I'm going to put my English bias aside and I'm going to put Dembele in there. Um, I think Dembele, yeah, I guess it depends. It depends what you want from your striker, really. But I'm gonna put Dembele for me. I think he can play. He's so versatile as well. He can play like anywhere across the front three, and you're laughing. And then the wingers, you've got a couple of. I mean, there's so many great wingers. I mean, we've even technically got one up front right now, but so many great wingers in the world of football right now. And I'd say honourable mentions or shout outs to, or one of these, two of these guys are going to be in the team, but Yamal, Salah, Rafinha, even Mbappe playing out wide could be an option. They're all the players I'm thinking about. Of course, I've probably not mentioned someone, but they're all the players that spring to my mind when I think of like best 11 players. And I think Yamal has to. I don't care Yamal left or right. I really don't care. Like I think Yamal can just play wherever he wants on the field. I think he has to be in here. And equally, I'm thinking probably Salah. Although I would be, I think I'm gonna go. Yamal has to be in there. I don't care what side he plays. I think he's just phenomenal to watch. Um, and then yeah, I think the final position here, honestly, I'd say Salah. Is Salah or Rafinha? Really, kind of has to be, doesn't it, on the right? Oh, I've got them on the wrong way around, but you know what I mean. Um, and then we'll play Yamal on the. Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what side they play. To be fair, they're just phenomenal either way. I think Salah. It's got to be Salah, isn't it, guys? He's just. Yeah, yeah, it has to be Salah. I think Rafinha. Don't get me wrong, he's had a great season. I think he. Honestly, if you would rather put Rafinha here, I would be like, yeah, Fez. Or Mbappe or someone like that, playing a little bit on the wing, I guess, or to the right slash left. But I think yeah, Salah's just done enough for me this season. Again, maybe that's my Premier League bias. I don't know. Well, we only have one Englishman in here, and one, two, three, only three Premier League. So to be fair, I think this is a pretty accurate. Well, at least not much bias going into it. I don't think many people would argue with the three that I put in as well. But yeah, of course, that is what football's all about. It's all about opinions, debates, and that sort of stuff. So do let me know in the comments. What would you guys change about this World 11? Is there someone I haven't mentioned in the video that maybe you would include? But I think I'm pretty happy with this one. So there you have it then, boys. There is my World 11. I think, to be honest, there's so many good players in football right now. It's just great to watch, isn't it? And I think it's going to be fun to look back, in a year. I'm happy in this video that I mentioned the players I did, even if they didn't make the squad, still mention them because I'm going to watch this video back in a year and be like, wow, I didn't even mention so and so or something like that. You're going to see, the rise and the progression that players have over the season is going to be way more accurate because if they're not included in this video and then next season I look back at it and I'm like, damn, I didn't even mention him. It makes you realize the jump in levels and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments if I did miss anyone, and of course that will help as well when we look back on it in a year or so and then you guys have commented someone, I'll be like, oh yeah, of course him. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys in a future video. Peace.